Let's talk Celtics.
Absolutely.
Well, we got 3 Celtics fans here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. All right, moving on.
Well, it's last year they had the best start in NBA history at 27-3, and
Did they?
yes,
Yeah, they did.
That was
No
last
kidding.
year. That was coming back off the championship. They were worried
Yeah.
about the championship hangover, and they came out to the best start in league history. So, and this year, at least so far,
They just seem. They're that bench.
Yeah.
it's
What an off season! I mean,
Yeah, it's
to
stacked.
be able to come up with a bench like that with no money to spend and be able to get Rondo back. I mean, I don't know how Ainge is doing it.
the thing about that bench.
Mental
is,
steroids? Do they have
perhaps.
those?
You know, they actually have a brain doctor on the dance.
I thought one of the great scenes from the home opener, was when they do the whole Geno bit, and I think it was Garnett. He's explaining to Rasheed Wallace,
yeah.
and Rasheed Wallace just says he's looking up. Rasheed Wallace. It's been long enough that we've been doing this that I think maybe it was our first episode where I said that I had no interest in ever seeing Rasheed Wallace play for the Celtics, but you see him every night. He's kind of more likable than you thought he would
is
be.
extremely likable. He's I knew that he was a character, ahead of time, but it's just you would get so frustrated with him as watching him as a player.
Yeah.
And I am getting a little frustrated with the fact that all he's doing is hoisting up 3-pointers. But
That's kind of his game, though.
yeah, well, it's his game now.
He's not an inside scorer.
Yeah.
Never has been.
I'd like to see him at least, not telegraph so much exactly what he's
Yeah.
going to do every time. But he is like, I can see why they felt the need to bring him in, not only for his skill set and because he helps space the floor, but just the looseness that he brings onto that team. And
Yeah.
he actually said after the game, they were asking him about Geno, and he said, I don't really see what all the hype is about Geno. He mentioned the heavyset guy in the video doing the chicken wing dance, and he's the chicken dance. He's like big fella had a pop locking. So he's definitely he's going to be a great addition for the fans. They're going to love this guy. I think. And I was surprised. I thought he would get a little bit of a mixed reaction coming out, being who he was, and how he played the Celtics so tough for many years, but he was out there right from the start, air guitaring to "Welcome to the Jungle." So I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The guy that does that, you just can't help but root for.
What do you think of the other guys, the newer guys? First impressions of them? And,
I think that everything is like you said before. It seems to be almost a perfect fit.
yeah,
Bringing in Marquise Daniels, which I didn't see. What's the big deal about this guy that they were trying to swing a deal and then finally signed him to that biannual exception? I didn't see what the big deal was, but the fact that he can do so much and he can kind of run that second unit
Yeah.
as a forward or as a guard, depending on which way he's playing. But just the stuff that he can do is key to that whole second unit being able to get out there and do what they do best. You don't have to put the ball in Eddie House's hands anymore. You don't have to worry about bringing in another point guard who's going to be worried about getting his own shot off like Marbury was last year.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely a good mesh, and it seems to be working right from the beginning. And Sheldon Williams, of course, has been a nice surprise.
he's been. I mean, he looks like he should be a star in the league. I mean, the way he's played.
They found the right fit for him finally after
Probably.
for the
he
struggles that he's had.
Doesn't he have a great nickname?
The landlord.
That's
Nice.
awesome. Why is it? Because he was.
Because he was such a good defensive player at Duke, and he has the school record for blocks and a game blocks in a season and career blocks, and also the career rebounding.
So, Laurie, are you a Rondo fan? Did you think they made the right move bringing back Rondo?
Yeah. I mean, he's the future of the team, and I mean, it's nice to see them actually kind of say, all right, I'm going to pay you that kind of money.
Yeah, it was smart.
Sometimes if a team doesn't do that, then sometimes the player says, all right, I am going to go test the waters and see about going elsewhere. But then again, I mean, obviously he wants to stay with the Celtics.
Well,
it's kind
also,
of that tight line.
being a restricted free agent, he didn't really have that option. I mean, whatever deal, it started to become clear to me that whatever the Celtics thought he might get as an offer, they were prepared to match.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really, Rondo had no kind of cachet in this.
But wasn't so? I mean, they couldn't match a multi-year deal, could they?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
So if someone said, "Okay, we signed Rondo to a 5-year, $70 million deal," they could just match that deal?
Yeah.
Huh.
because they have to give him.
I would assume that it only would count for like 1 year. That doesn't seem fair to the player.
They have to give him the qualifying offer, which is I think for Rondo's deal would have been something like $3.2 million. So that's what they have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they didn't offer that, I think he would have become an unrestricted free agent, I believe. But so they just have to make that initial offer, and then he's allowed to receive other offers from other teams, and then they have the right to match. Because it's the whole idea of the restricted free agent. I think it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
In some ways, because it does kind of handcuff the player if he's in a situation he doesn't want to be in.
That doesn't seem fair to the player at all.
But
that
the way it usually works out is they can match that deal, and they'll use that as a way they'll match the deal, and then they'll trade him to the other team that was interested in him.
They don't
in a way
have
to
to
get pieces back. Yeah, but it works that way quite a bit. Sign and trades.
It just seems like it was a good move in that, everyone's clearing up room to get the big free agents, and there's only a few of them. There's not like there's 20 of these guys, so someone out there would definitely have the money to say, okay, well, if we can't get LeBron James, we'll get Rondo.
And I don't think the Celtics are really going to be big players for a lot of
Why
those
would
names.
they need? They don't need to.
Well, they need to start looking beyond the next 2 years.
Nah. Kevin Garnett's going to play till he's in his mid-50s.
That's entirely possible.
Like Robert Parrish.
Yeah.
He's already going to log 40,000 minutes this season alone. So, well, not this season, but
at least, they're 40,000 minutes, but he wasn't really playing hard for most of those.
he was in Minnesota.
He was,
But it's a good cornerstone for the future. I don't think that he's going to be a star. He's not going to be Chris Paul for this team, even when he is the guy. They're still going to have to add other pieces. But, I mean, when you look at when next year, they're going to be paying him this money with Ray Allen likely off the books. And
right.
I'm still holding true to the belief that if Ray Allen feels like he can still play, Ray Allen's going to sign on this team for the veteran minimum until he's ready to retire.
Well, he's like a Tim Wakefield deal?
I think I got that. I just seem to get that feeling
really
about him. But
do you think that he's got that type of affection for... I mean, I get that from Pierce, and I get that from Garnett. Allen, I guess he's just so hard to read.
He is. He definitely
It seems
is.
like he's a guy that would be just as happy to play... Say, oh, you know what? I enjoyed Boston. I'm going to try.
Yeah, but if he could get another ring, I mean.
Yeah, I think if he, my belief in this is I've never asked him about this. I've never talked to him about this. If it's not here, it's retirement. I seem to just get that feeling like he feels like he's reached the end of his career. Then again, I keep just thinking in the back of my mind that, and I know that fans out there who have heard this floated out, they're going to email me and lambaste me for this, but there is a lot of sentiment to the idea of trading him at the deadline, even if this team is a contender, which it should be, moving Ray Allen at the deadline for Michael Redd.
Why?
It allows Ray Allen to finish his career in Milwaukee where he started.
But why are we talking about finishing? He's like 33.
But he's 33, but watch
He's
what happened to him.
But he's a jump shooting 33-year-old. I mean, it's not like he can still play.
Hey, I hope he plays till he's 37, 38 on this team.
Mid-50s.
Mid-50s?
He and Garnett in 2026 are going to lead them to a championship.
They're going to change their name from the Celtics to the Satchel Pages.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I think that's all food for thought. That's all.
When you're undefeated here in the early going, because we're taping this on Tuesday, but I'm pretty sure they're going to handle the 76ers pretty easily.
Yeah, they're a good squad.
So when you're starting the season 5-0, this is the kind of stuff that you just have to speculate about.